Good afternoon, it's Deb coming to you from my kitchen. I wanted to show you I'm making snickerdoodle keto cookies, and I'm using the flour, the perfected keto flour that I made from Victoria's Kitchen. It's a YouTube channel that I found while looking up low carb recipes. She recommends allulose and to get it from Walmart, but my local Walmart didn't have it, so I found this all-purpose in the raw. And it is made with I know I saw, oh, there it is, erythritol, allulose, and stevia. So it's a blend. It's a blend of the three sugars, the three most common ones. I mixed some here with cinnamon. And this is the dough. I'm really impressed with it. Look at the texture. It feels just like sugar cookie dough, except it doesn't stick to your hands. So you can roll a perfect little ball, shake it around in the cinnamon sugar. Cinnamon makes almost everything better. I don't know if you know that, but cinnamon actually boosts your metabolism. And I've read fitness experts suggesting just stirring straight cinnamon into your water and making it a fat burning tonic, which I've done, but I like to eat my cinnamon too. I prefer to eat my cinnamon and prefer it on a dessert. I was known for my cinnamon rolls many years ago, and eventually when I have a full day of baking, like maybe this Wednesday, so maybe in a couple days from now, if I'm feeling ambitious enough, I will make keto cinnamon rolls. One's made without white flour or white sugar. And again, if you haven't seen my other video where I made the keto flour, it is a blend of ground almonds, powdered egg whites, oat fiber, and xanthan gum. And I got that recipe from Victoria's Kitchen, so if you want that recipe, head on over to her channel. I don't want to take credit for her invention. She created it. She put in the time. People refer to her as a baking scientist. I like to follow other people's recipes that work, and I've had enough experience with baking that I can read almost any recipe baking wise and have an understanding of how it's going to turn out, like the texture, you know, the ingredients look kind of odd to me, the ratios, you know, because I like to say when other women were reading romance novels in bed, I was reading dessert cookbooks, like how to make a perfect cheesecake and how to make a perfect buttercream, and I was always into the making the desserts. But I've also had to avoid sugar for health reasons, and so many of my friends, so many of my good friends that were always my biggest fans, my biggest dessert testers, are all having to say, Deb, you know, I can't have dessert anymore. You know, and really, it's all about controlling your insulin. And I read many years ago in Suzanne Summers' book, Eat Great, Lose Weight. She said, control your insulin, control your weight. And they didn't even really notice that until they started watching diabetics and changing their diet and seeing seeing weight loss as a side effect rather than like we did this with the intention of losing weight, it became a side effect. And so now pretty much it seems the whole world is caught on to what ketosis means, and that's what the word keto, you know, for those of you that don't know what that means or where that came from. And I do have a portion scoop, which I thought was such a wonderful invention, but over time, the spring, you know, it makes the cookie dough stick to it, and I just wanted to get my hands in it. It's more fun. So at that, I'm gonna wash my hands, shut off this video, and the other one should be coming out of the oven in 54 seconds. They recommended 10 to 12 minutes, so I've got my timer set to go off at 10 minutes, and we'll give them a look. We got 23 seconds to go. I'm just gonna dry my hands, straighten up my space. This can go to the dish tank. I said dish tank like I'm in a restaurant. It's just my kitchen. It is a licensed kitchen though. I got it licensed through the health department so I could sell my desserts. 2, 1, beep. All right. Oh, this is the first time I've made these, so I'm as surprised as you will be. Oh, wow. Look at those crinkles. Oh, I think that is perfect. I'm just gonna let these cool for a bit. Let me grab my cooling rack. I'm gonna slide this other cookie sheet in. She must have made them a lot bigger than I did because she said she got 15. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I made way more than 15. But I'll set the timer for another 10 minutes. And I gotta let them cool before I can pick them up. Even a traditional cookie has to cool before you can lift it off the cookie sheet. So give it a minute or two. That's the hardest part, is waiting, right? The waiting is the hardest part, but it's necessary. Sometimes the waiting is necessary. It didn't take very long to whip up this batch of cookies though. Traditionally, most of the cookies I have made involve whipping the butter, which means you have to let it come to room temperature, or fast soften it, which doesn't always work in your favor. This recipe has you melt the stick of butter, which I'm like, oh. But I'm also working with a flour that's not traditional flour, so I think they look perfect. I can't wait to try them. I did taste this all-purpose sugar in the raw, and you ain't fooling me. I know it's not sugar. My taste buds haven't adapted to it, and I don't know if you've heard of the 11th olive principle. The 11th olive principle states that if you don't like olives, but you eat one every day for 10 days, on the 11th day, you'll like olives. So I wonder if that's true with artificial sweeteners. I will say that people that have switched from regular soda to sugar-free soda, at first they don't like the taste, but after they get used to it, they prefer it, and then they don't like the one that had sugar in it, or high fructose corn syrup. It picked up perfect. I was worried. Now, one thing I will say about artificial sweeteners is they tend to brown faster, or not brown at all. I think they've kind of perfected the newer blends to brown like sugar. I'm pretty happy. It's too hot though. I know a hot cookie is not gonna taste as good as the one that's cooled down a bit, but oh, it's nice and warm and soft. It's starting to break. Ooh, she was right. She said you will be amazed at how soft. Wow. Okay, it's a hot cookie, but I'm still gonna try it. You know what I like about it? You know how like raw sugar has that crunch? There's little tiny, like almost like you're eating sand, but it's a good thing. This has that. I am almost fooled. There's a hint in the background that something's different, but it's not unpleasant. This is satisfying. This is very, it's like eating warm cake. Little gooey in the middle, but I don't mind. When I went to culinary school, Chef Weber said, my wife is the one that taught me how to bake a good cookie. She said, you have to take it out when it's medium rare, like a steak. because they do continue. It's called residual cooking time. When you let it cool on the cookie sheet, it's baking without browning. So it's like kind of cooking on the inside, and it'll continue to lose some of that, it'll lose some of its moisture as it cools down. But yeah, these, I'm really happy with these. 10 minutes. And I eyeballed, I didn't use a portion scoop. I've been very hard on myself about making things be perfectly uniform. But these are just for me. So people that have been asking them, how much are you gonna sell them for? I'm like, I'm not gonna sell anything for a minute. I'm in my experimental phase. This is like a new technique. This is new. I wanna make sure how my body responds to it. This flour has a lot of fiber in it from oat fiber. So you don't wanna binge eat a whole bunch of these unless you wanna get an overabundance of fiber, and we all know what that can do. So you still need to enjoy in moderation. It's not an excuse to binge, but this is still, I mean, you're getting the healthy fats from the almonds, the protein from the egg whites, and the fiber from the oats. That's way better than a white flour, white sugar snickerdoodle cookie. Or and I also used real butter. So those of you that would want a different alternative, you could use coconut oil. I'm sure coconut oil would work in this recipe. But I like butter. I'm okay with butter. And at that, I'm gonna get my kitchen cleaned up. It was nice meeting here with you. Enjoy. Have a wonderful day.